Welcome everybody. This is the annual Getting Involved in Extracurricular Experiences hosted by the Health Professions Advising Center's Peer Mentors. So tonight you're going to hear from our peer mentors and they're going to be talking to you about things that they're doing outside of the classroom. So if you've been to an HPAC workshop before, which probably most of you have, you've heard a lot about academics, GPA, standardized exams, academics, get good grades, right? That's what we really focus on early on in our workshops. Now you're going to hear a focus on how to get involved outside the classroom, how to do clubs and orgs on campus, how to get involved in clinical experiences, community service projects, leadership opportunities. So kind of the fun stuff, right? So with that being said, the very first thing that we think you might want to be familiar with is the Health Professions Advising Center website does have a more thorough database of on-campus clubs and orgs, on-campus clinical and community service, as well as off-campus clinical and community service, research programs, summer programs, 5-year activities, opportunities abroad. We're obviously not going to hear about all of those things tonight. There's 450 clubs and orgs at UCR on campus, maybe even more than that, and I think over 50 of them are free-home. So there's no way we're going to be able to go through all of those extracurricular experiences today. We're going to hear from 13 of those. So our website has a more thorough database for that, especially the research portal, which we'll talk about at the end. Some of you might know about that, some of you might not. There's actually ways to look up research experiences that are available to students on campus. So our website, the hpac.ucr.edu website, is a great place to start. There's also the Association of American Medical Colleges, or the AAMC, and if you're pre-med, you're probably already very familiar with this organization. If you're not, and you're not pre-med, that's okay. They still have really good information and resources for you all to take a look at, particularly on their Aspiring Docs fact sheet page. So the handout that you all received when you came in is actually printed from Aspiring Docs. So one is about shadowing a physician and the other one is about finding healthcare related experiences in general. There's also some about getting involved in lab experiences, what it's like to be a scribe, what it's like to be an EMT, shameless plug for Thursday if you're considering a post-bac program, what it's like to engage in a post-bac program. HPAC is hosting a post-bac workshop on Thursday from 5 to 6:30, so if you're interested in that, shameless plug for that workshop. So there's a great resource through Aspiring Docs to get some foundational information about getting involved outside the classroom. There's also the National Association of Advisors for the Health Professions, so this is my national organization and Charlie's organization as advisors. There's a database through their website for summer opportunities. This is summer specifically for both clinical and clinical and research, as you can see on their database. We have the actual URL for this at the end of the presentation, so you'll get a copy of it. But a simple Google search of NAAHP summer opportunities would bring this website up as well. So NAAHP is the National Association for Advisors for the Health Professions. And this is a pre-health database. So this isn't going to be specific to pre-medicine, but students that might be interested in optometry, dentistry, pharmacy, physical therapy will also find very good resources here as well. So lastly, our program agenda is as follows. We're going to be talking about 13 different extracurricular experiences. Some of them are going to be community-based or national-based programs, like the Summer Health Professions and Education Program, which used to be called SMDEP, Summer Medical and Dental Education Program. You might have heard of that. And then a lot of things are going to be programs that are on campus. The FPL program, KID, MMS, Riverside Health Connect, Riverside Free Clinics, San Bernardino Free Clinic, BPSHI. So hopefully these are things that you might somewhat be familiar with. Yes?
So a lot of this is on campus?
Correct. So the question is, are these organizations on campus? All of them except for the first one, Summer Health Professions Education Program, and Cornerstone Community Church and Farm Tech. Those are things that aren't associated with UC Riverside. And COPE Health Solutions Program. So COPE is in as well. So some of them are connected through UCR and some of them are programs out in the community because students will be getting involved in the Riverside community at large. Not everything a student does on campus is going to be through UC Riverside because we don't have a clinical site on campus. So any type of clinical experiences students will be engaging out in the community in local hospitals or skilled nursing homes, clinics, treatment, so on and so forth.
So does that mean if I like enroll for this program, I don't have to go outside of campus?
We'll go ahead and talk about that at the end of the workshop. So with that being said, I want to turn it over to the peer mentors because these are the students who are actually getting their hands dirty, literally and or figuratively in these organizations. These are the students that you're going to refer to in your Ask a Peer Mentor hour who might be able to answer questions for you about how to get involved in these organizations, clubs and orgs, community service, research, and most importantly, clinical experience. So with that being said, we want to talk about the first program, which is designed for underrepresented minority students, which is the Summer Health Professions Education Program, which is going to be hard for me to remember because it used to be SMPED. So Michael's going to talk about that.
All right, hey guys, I'm going to be talking about the SHPEP, as Amber said. So it used to be called SMDEP, but they brought in the name to make it for all the health professions instead of just medical and dental. So a brief overview of the program is that it's 6 weeks long, and it's pretty intensive. It's like a full-time job. You have classes in the morning, and you have rotations in the afternoon. So they split you up into, I think it's like 7 groups. Each group has about 15 students. And in the mornings, you learn from professors at the campus that you're on. And in the afternoons, you have rotations in each of the different health professions. So like medicine, dentistry, nursing, physical therapy, optometry. Yeah, I think that's all. So they pay for everything pretty much. If you have to fly out there, they pay for your flight, they pay for your housing and for food. And since we're on the quarter system, we can only apply to 4 sites, which are UCLA, University of Iowa, Western, and University of Washington, because most of the other sites start before we end school. Before we end school. So once again, these are the professions that you can choose from. And they also give you a stipend. So every weekend they plan out trips like Six Flags, downtown LA. Can't remember what else right now, but so they give you a stipend, so you don't even have to pay for the trips that you guys go to, and those obviously aren't required. So if you want to just stay back at the dorms and keep the money, you can do that too. Does anyone have quick questions about the overview before I move on? Okay.
We'll do questions at the end.
Okay. So for the application, it opens December 1st, and as I stated down at the bottom, you have to apply as early as possible because they only accept 80 students and like thousands of people apply. And you get your decision pretty quick. It's only a couple months as opposed to like professional schools. You have to wait like almost a whole year to do an interview. There's no interview for this. You just have to do a personal statement and you get a letter of rec and send over your transcripts.
We'll just take these back.
So I'll stay on that slide for a second if anybody wants to write something. And also you have to be a freshman or sophomore because if you're a junior, it's a little bit late, and also if you're a senior, you're going to be starting in professional school that summer. So a few highlights. I'm pre-dental, so I was in the pre-dental group. The groups work. There's like 4 medical groups. There are 2 dental groups. There's 1 physical therapy group, and the other group is like a mix of everything else because there's only a few other students that are in each of the health professions. So a few of the highlights that I got to go on were the College of Dental Medicine Luncheon and Golf Tournament. So the College of Dental Medicine sponsored all of the dental students to their annual golf tournament, and we got to like meet all the professors. We got to meet the dean of the dental school. So that's also another really good opportunity. You get to meet the faculty, and when you apply, they like know your name. And you also get a wide variety of exposure to each health profession. So no matter what health profession you're interested in, you're going to be going through rotations for all the health professions. So this is also a good opportunity if you're not yet sure what you want to do. You'll get good exposure to every health profession.
Okay.
And once again, you get the major benefits. You get to build relationships with the faculty. It helps you decide on a career, gain experience, And also you get to explore what it's like to be in professional school because you're learning from professors in professional school. It's a lot different than undergrad where you have like huge lecture halls. Most of the classes are going to be like less than 100 students. And it's more like you get more exposure to the professors. And also every Friday you learn about health disparities around the world. So it's like a good eye opener to like how medicine and health works around the world. Yeah, and that's all I have for SHPEP. Thank you.
Thanks, Michael. Have anybody heard of SHPEP before? It's a really prestigious national organization. As Michael said, it is a free program if you get accepted to it. Many UCR students do apply, and we usually do have a handful each year that end up getting accepted. So definitely consider applying to the program if it's something that you think you might be interested in. The application opens November 1st. Apply early. So this is a program that applications operate on rolling admissions, so you definitely don't want to wait till the deadline if you want to apply to this program. You definitely need to get your application submitted early in this. So up next we have Arpita, who's going to talk about the Future Physician Leader Program.
Hi, my name is Arpita. I'm a paramedic in medicine, and I'll be talking today about FPL, which is the Future Physician Leaders Program. So FPL is an 8-week-long summer program, and it's a pipeline program through the UCR School of Medicine. So it's run and facilitated by them. And so this program has 3 components. It has a community service project, there's a lecture component, and there's also shadowing. So the community service project, basically they'll pair you up with a group of other individuals at the same location site as you are, and you'll go ahead and pick a topic that you feel is relevant to your community. It can be something like diabetes or cardiovascular disease. Basically a health topic that is prevalent in the area that you're serving, and you'll go ahead and create a presentation and work in a group and basically use that project to educate the community and evaluate your results and your impact on them. The second component is leadership. Yeah, we do questions at the end, but we'll do them at the end of all presentations, yeah, just to save time. So the second component is a leadership lecture series, and basically they'll have guest speakers come in. They'll be like current health professionals like nurses, doctors. It might even be some of the faculty from the UCR School of Medicine, and they'll talk to you about things like cultural competency, your own roadmap to success, how to get involved, and how to basically navigate your journey into the health professions. And then the third component is shadowing. So shadowing, as I'll go over later, they have 3 program sites, so they choose 20 students per site, and you'll get to shadow in 6 different specialties, and those are 4-hour shifts. So it's about 25 to 30 hours of shadowing. Oh, and I want to add that the shadowing is a great opportunity to get connected with a physician. I know many people are wondering how would you start shadowing the doctor, how would you get to know the doctor. So FPL kind of gives you that head start in. You can shadow the doctor once and maybe ask them if you can continue shadowing them in the future. An optional component that FPL has that they just recently added in the past years is a K.I.D workshop. So the K.I.D workshop is a 4-week seminar. It's included in the 8 weeks of the program. And it's based on the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. So this is a book that basically goes through important life skills and habits that you can adapt as a student, as an aspiring health professional, or just as a person in general. They're things that are going to help you be academically, professionally, and personally successful. And so basically this is usually a group of 10 to 12 students. And you will do the reading each week, and then you'll come in and you'll discuss it with each other as well as the facilitator. And they'll have questions where you can apply those readings and those skills to real life situations, and it's really just a great way to enhance your summer experience. So a little bit about requirements and deadlines. So FPL.ucr.edu is the application website. There's an application on there, there's deadlines, there's also general information about the program if you want to learn more, and you can even see the schedules from the previous years if you're interested in seeing what the lectures are about. So the application is going to open in February, and it's going to be due in April. It has a couple different parts. There's regular demographic things which are easy to fill out. There's a couple short answer questions just asking why you're interested in the program, why you're interested in serving underserved communities. And then if you're interested in doing the shadowing component, you're also going to need a letter of recommendation. So if you're planning on doing that portion, you should start looking early to make sure your letter of recommendation has time to put that in before the application is due. As far as eligibility, everyone in this room should be eligible because it's for high school seniors up to postgraduates. You have to have an interest in careers in healthcare, and you need a permanent address in the Inland Empire. There's 3 program sites. So there's a Riverside San Bernardino site, which hosts all the programs through Cal State San Bernardino. That's where your lectures and your workshops are going to be. There's a Coachella Valley site, and there's also a site in Temecula. And then the program runs from mid-June to the first week of August. So a little bit about my experience. So Grace, who's another peer mentor, me and her were actually in the same group last summer. We did our FPL project together, and we chose to do it on cardiovascular disease. So in our group, we have 3 components. We focus on nutrition, physical health, and also health education. So we basically educated the community about all 3 areas, and we held this event at the Riverside Public Library. So through this presentation, you're able to hand out basically pre and post surveys to see whether your information or the health education that you provided had an impact on the community and whether they're going to take something away and implement that into their daily lifestyles. And then at the end of the program, you'll be presenting your work through a poster presentation at basically the end of the summer reception. And that's a great opportunity for you to network because there's many community members and current health professionals that will come out and you'll have a chance to present your work to them as well. So that's a little bit about FPL. If you're interested, you can come and ask me my Ask a Peer Mentor hours. They're Mondays and Fridays from 3 to 4. But this is really a great opportunity if you're interested in serving the community and providing health education. Thank you.
So next we're going to move on to our first community service program. I think we have 3 community service programs and then we're going to get into our clinical experiences. So the first of the community service program is probably the student favorite, which is the Kindling Intellectual Development Program or the KID program. Some of you might have heard of it, some of you might already be involved in it. If not, most students who really love working with kids are really excited about the KID program. So I'm going to turn it over to Christian and he's going to tell you about the program.
All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Christian. I am a 4th-year biology major, and I'm also one of the 8 pre-med peer mentors for the HPAC program. So I am a part of the KID program. I currently serve as a mentor, and I've also served as a counselor for the last 2 summer camps, and I'll be going over what all of these entail. So first up, our mission as an organization is to serve as mentors for underserved youth here in Riverside locally. Essentially, in underserved communities, there isn't unequal access to education, so our goal overall is to inspire higher education one activity at a time. So there are several programs that we host in KID. These are all either large scale or smaller scale, and so one of our larger scale events is KID Christmas. So KID Christmas this year is going to be on December 16, 2017. Applications to be a part of the program will be out soon. So with that being said, KID Christmas is it is a couple hours, 5 hours. It's a 5-hour program where you are going to be working with students as well as a mentor in different stations. And in each station there is a given activity. It's usually arts and crafts and to just, help kids and, create presents for them to put under the tree and their family housing. On top of that, there is, we serve lunch, and we also have a caroling component where we invite rhythm and brains as well as different performers here at UCR. In addition to that, one thing unique that we do is we have parents apply for like a wish list, and so the day of, they get to sit on Santa's lap and receive a present. For some students, this may be the only present they will be receiving for Christmas, so it is really, really endearing to be a part of a program like this, as it is very rewarding. So on top of that, some of our smaller scale events include our Wednesday sessions as well as our Path of Life Family Emergency Center sessions. So Wednesday sessions, these occur weekly at the First Congregational Church in downtown Riverside, so over where Mission Inn is at. Setup begins at 5 p.m. and session starts at 5:30, and it usually lasts an hour. And so around this time, Riverside Food Clinic, as well as Project Food goes on in the same building. So usually parents, what they do is they, drop their kids off if they want to have a check-up appointment, or on top of that, if they want to, bring their entire family in for free food that is offered by Project Food. So on top of that, in Wednesday sessions, mentors like myself, we get to work with students, kids, and different arts and crafts, as well as creates projects that kind of goes along with subjects that they learn in class, but in a more fun way. On top of that, we have we also have sessions on Path of Life. Path of Life, for those of you who do not know, is a homeless shelter also in downtown Riverside, and we host very similar sessions. However, this is bi-weekly. So, and one of our larger scale events on top of K.I.D Christmas is iDiscover Summer Camp. And iDiscover Summer Camp occurs the week after finals over the summer. So this is a program where we have 50 to 60 kids, as well as UCR students serving as counselors. And together with another mentor, you get to work with a group of students that, that come from different age ranges, that are, in groups of 5 to 6. And each day we have themed programs and activities. On Mondays, we usually have team building activities to get to know the kids, as well as have a lot of games and arts and crafts. On top of that, on Tuesday, we have our field trip day. This year, our theme for iDiscover Summer Camp is Finding Dory. So we ended up going to the Learning Dome at Balboa, where students were able to learn about the ocean. On Wednesday, we have Science Day, and on this day, we had activities that deal with the scientific methods. Students were able to flip water bottles and create hypotheses and conclusions out of this and create experiments. On top of that, we invited a professor of entomology here at UCR to talk about her research, as well as bring different specimens, as well as the bees that she does her research on, so that way students are able to see wider scope in the sciences. And on top of that, we invited the neuroscience club to have a presentation with students. So each kind of breakout tables, there were different activities such as learning about the brain, creating clay models of the brain, and all of that. So again, this goes along with the mission where we want to inspire students as well as the underserved youth to pursue higher education. And on Friday, we have our open house day where students and kids were able to show their parents what they've accomplished throughout the week. And I wasn't able to talk about Thursday, but on Thursday, we have a career day. This year, we were able to bring students to UCR, and we partnered up with the chemistry club, and they showed students how to make ice cream out of liquid nitrogen, get a picnic, and give them a tour of the campus. So how do I get involved as an iDiscover Summer Camp volunteer or a counselor? So you can either be a volunteer or a counselor, and their roles in camp may be slightly different. For a camp volunteer, you do a lot of behind the scenes work, so setting up the tables, setting up sessions, going to the kitchen to prepare breakfast and lunch. And on top of that, you still are able to interact with kids, but this is more behind the scenes work. Something about this is you're not required to be a part of camp for the entirety of the camp, so you can be a part of it with a minimum of 3 full days. So if this is something that you want to do, definitely do it. Am I running out of time? Oh my gosh. How much time do I have left? Alrighty, so also camp counselors, you have to commit 5 full days. This is right after finals, so it may be overwhelming, but again, it's very, very, very rewarding as you get to lead a group of students with a peer mentor. Committees, if you want to be a general member, these are all the committees that you can be a part of: outreach, wellness, fundraising, and special events. If you want to be a mentor, submit an application through this link, attend a mandatory training, as well as pay $25 for background checkup and apply for a committee. And this is my experience in KID. And if you want to learn more about this program, visit my Ask a Peer Mentor hours from 9 to 11 on Thursdays downstairs. Yes, sorry about that.
The passion for KID always really exudes from it, whoever's participating in this. So that doesn't always surprise me. It's good to see students that are really engaged in what they want to do, and you can kind of feel the passion from the peer mentors as they go on and give to organizations, again, both on campus and off campus. So the next 2 presenters, I think, are going to come up together because they're both in both organizations. So we're going to hear about Mini Medical School, or MMS. Some of you might have heard about as well as Riverside Health Connect or RHC, not RCP, like the hospital, so it can be kind of confusing. So Alexis and Patrick for the
Hello, everyone. My name is Alexis.
I'm Patrick Simones.
And so I'm going to represent Uni Medical School, and it is a pipeline program by the UCR School of Medicine. And so what is Uni Medical School? We have a mission, and our mission is to bridge health disparities by providing medically correct information, as well as culturally competent. And we take that information out to the community of the MMS. And how do we? So what we do is MMS is basically comprised of many small groups that focus on a different health topic or disease. Such groups such as like diabetes, hypertension, oral health, alcohol addiction, lung health, HIV and AIDS awareness, and other things like that, and many other topics that are also relevant to our community. And we take that those groups work together to create both a PowerPoint presentation and a more mobile poster presentation where we can take out to community events such as health fairs or other community events such as like walks. And we get to interact with the community, and we're able to present this information in an understandable manner where we're able to make them aware of certain things to prevent certain diseases or to just get to know more about them, to try to like live a better life.
Not only do we benefit the community itself, but also the students who do join MMS get involved also with sort of like development in a team building activity, understanding presentation materials, as well as just getting direct experience with the community and understanding what the MMS needs. I just want to talk about some of the pictures here. They're really cool. As you can see, Alex is also in all of them as well, so her in most of them. So in this one, we have oral health. What's really cool is that they bring this like giant set of dentures to community events that they go to. And so they have kids have toothbrushes, like a giant toothbrush, and they basically teach them the proper way to brush their teeth, but in a very fun and interactive manner. We have the asthma group. They like to have like basically like mini straws, and they try and tell patients or community members what it's like to have asthma, what it's like to have asthma. Like it's really, really strong. And then what we have right here is the Alzheimer's awareness group. And what they do is really interesting. They put on like really dark goggles. They put on mittens, and they restrict your movement. And essentially, it's just like advanced stages of Alzheimer's. So if you're part of MMS, you can sort of collaborate with your group and find interesting and fun ways to present your project. That's also very beneficial to the group.
And so the cool thing about these groups is that even though they all get to interact with the community, some of them get to interact with different segments of the population. So like oral health tends to talk a little bit more to like the younger audiences and try to teach them how to brush their teeth. Versus like HIV and AIDS awareness, we like to focus more on older audiences. And like here in HIV and AIDS awareness, we were talking to people and we were playing a small game with them. We were asking them like, is this true or not in regards to like something related to HIV and AIDS? And we're just trying to dispel certain myths against that. And similar to all these other groups, they're trying to dispel certain myths that are like related to diabetes and other things like that.
As you can see right here, there's also Christian in the background. I kind of like this.
And so how to join MMS? We have normally four general meetings. They are every other Tuesday, generally from 6 to 7 p.m. in Orbon G73. And our applications are due within the first 2 weeks of the quarter. And we're very strict with that due to a growing search of members. And although even though if you don't turn in an application on time, you're still welcome to come to the general meetings. You're still welcome to join us. You just have to wait until the next quarter to become an actual member.
We really recommend you to come to our meetings. They're very fun. We often have benching panels. We have speakers from School of Medicine, such as Dr. Simmons, Dr. K.I.D, and they provide a lot of other knowledge about health disparities that we might not hear in the classes.
And if you are interested in our general meetings, we do have our Facebook page. You can just search us up as the Medical School. And you'll be able to find all our general meetings for the following quarter since we're done for this quarter. And there's our contact information.
we also have a website on UCR.edu. So, oh yeah, it's recorded. We also have a website, mms.ucr.edu. It's filled with a lot more peripheral content as well. So if you're interested, then you can check that out as well. Our Facebook does have a lot of up-to-date information. So if you need to know something really soon, our Facebook is usually pretty updated to that because I'm in charge of that.
There's also a lot of pictures, so you can see closely more like how the community events look and how the tabling looks and the interaction between the members and the community.
Okay. So moving on to our second community service part, we have Riverside Health Connect. I'm the current president of Riverside Health Connect, so I just like to share to you what my club does. I like to think of ourselves as sort of sister orgs to Maine Medical School. We're both pipeline programs to UCR School of Medicine, and we both benefit the Inland Empire in serving the underserved. So what do we do exactly? So similar to a mini medical school, Riverside, the Inland Empire is an underserved population. So Riverside Health Connect seeks to sort of be a middleman in terms of information. Basically, we have a bunch of resources about free to low cost health resources, or even just general other amenities such as food shelters and things like that we serve to the community. One thing that health insurance often doesn't cover, if community members do have health insurance, is that it doesn't cover dental and vision. Those are one of the most needed things that health insurance does not cover. That's often a necessity that we have resources on. So often people within the empire without health insurance or health insurance that covers these lacks the resources. And so we have information on things like vision fairs, clinics that provide free dental screenings. And so often patients who have these things, have these issues, just stay with them for many years. Patients have toothaches who can't get them fixed because they're so expensive, have to hold on to those things for several years. And that's a very heavy life burden. So Riverside Health Connect, we have basically binders that's chock full of information on food shelters, crisis hotlines, things like that. Discounted bill and gas services if you're in a certain income bracket, that we go to community that's similar to MMS and bring these information to the community, directly to them. So again, just as we talked about, we go to health fairs, community venues, or events of interest within the Inland Empire. We specifically like to go to health fairs because that is what the community is looking for. But again, this is an opportunity to get direct community exposure and really understand what the Inland Empire needs and wants. Another thing too is that you're also able, just like in MMS, developing your presentation skills to people. You're talking often to patients about things that they might not be very vulnerable about, like, oh, I have a toothache that I've been wanting to get fixed for the last 5 years, or oh, I haven't had any glasses since the last day. You know, things like that are some things that will be occurring. And even though at some healthcare events you might not see like a whole flood of people, if you can affect 1 or 2 people and give them their dental resources or vision resources, then you really make them happen.
Through both these organizations, you're able to closely interact with the community. You get to know the type of people out there. They sometimes open up to you. They tell you all about their problems, all about how their lives have been going, and sometimes giving this information to how to get free medical attention, how to treat your toothache, and really make them really happy. Because sometimes they'll even be like skeptical of us when we tell them, hey, do you want to go to a free clinic? It's completely free. You don't need health insurance. And they're like, well, I haven't seen a doctor in the last 20 years since I've been in the country. And so it really makes their day, and it can really make a big difference in their lifestyle.
Many of the patients that we speak to are also undocumented, and they have pretty much no access to health insurance. So again, your work in Riverside Health Connect could be one of the few interactions and continuity of healthcare that they've ever had involved in the U.S. So just to talk about the pictures, so the top one is us at the Paris Football. It's a big annual spring health fair that we go to every year. We see a lot of people and we really get to talk to a lot of people. It's also great too because our members also are able to explore the health fair as well. We don't restrict them to just a table. So exploring the health fair, getting those like free pens and pencils and bottles and like that is also fun. We also get to see what other health boards are out there within the empire. It's not just at PCR. Kind of get out of the.
Some people even use the time to get their own flu shots.
And then in the bottom one, we went to the Merino Valley Health Fair. We talked to a fair bit of people there. As you can see, Alex is there as well. So yeah, there's a lot of great things to be had when you talk with the community on a personal level. So again, there's some more pictures, just, you know, doing the same sort of thing. So how do you join exactly? Riverside Health Clinic doesn't have very stringent requirements. We're actually a pretty small club. There's no need for an application. You just come to our meetings. So generally we have our meetings on the same week of LMS every other Thursday. Generally starting from weeks 2, 4, 6, 8. We don't have any more meetings for the rest of the quarter due to Thanksgiving break. But if you just follow our Facebook, which is the content posted to the site after this, you can find our meeting schedule and things like that. And then once you sign into our meetings, you'll be added to our email list where you'll be up to date in terms of events and meeting dates and things like that. And so Riverside Health Clinic isn't really a high commitment club. Really just want you to be there for like the events and the meetings that we have. So you can contact us. This is our email, our Facebook, and then you can contact my email. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. So you can really see the passion for the Riverside community in the Inland Empire from these two. So if you haven't guessed, they are Inland Empire natives. So if you also hail from somewhere in the IE like I do, or most of our students and career mentors do, you might really enjoy things like FPL, MMS, and Riverside Health Clinic. So we're going to change gears a little bit and move on to the clinical portion of our evening together. We're going to be talking about free clinics, medical programs, as well as optometry, beauty, dentistry, pharmacy. So we have lots of different clinical things that we're going to talk about. The first up is BPSHI. So Samia is going to come and talk to you guys about the health initiative.
Hi everyone, my name is Samia. I'm one of the presidents of BPSHI. So what BPSHI stands for is the Bhagat, Puran, Singh Health Initiative. And what we do is we host student-run health clinics around the Riverside area. So we always have a physician there with us, or residents or medical students. And we're becoming more and more established in the area, and we're starting to make a lot of connections with the local temples and gurdwaras and mosques. So our name's spreading a lot, and it's really great because our goal is to kind of eliminate all the social disparities and the stigmas around this area. So it's great that we're able to host these clinicals at these religious affiliations to start like promoting health education and like spreading our word and like serving as many people as we can. So our inspiration started with Bhagat Puran Singh. He was a philanthropist in India. He started off with pretty much nothing. He had around like 2 rupees to his name, which is around like 4 cents in dollars. And so he started India's biggest charity. And the greatest thing that like he did with his charity is that he didn't like discriminate against anyone. So people with mental disabilities, people who are amputees, other things like that in our culture are very frowned upon. He went out of his way to help them, and so he spread his word and he's helped so many people. So he's now like a huge international organization. We have a lot of chapters at local colleges that have these free health clinics in his name to promote and like to keep serving. So what we do as an organization is we have clinics, as I was talking about, and further into the presentation I'm going to talk a little bit more about how the clinics are run. We also host other service events such as Seva, which is where we go to the local gurdwaras and we package up food and we give it out to people in need in this area. We have a lot of leadership opportunities coming up in the club as we're looking for like liaisons for the freshman class, the sophomore class, and the junior class. So if anyone's interested in that. And then to become a member of BPSHI, all you have to do is attend our general meetings. Our general meetings don't have a set schedule because we like to change throughout the week just for people who have like Wednesday labs or work on Tuesdays so that they can come to the other ones. But if you email our email at ucriverside@bpshi.com, you'll be able to like keep updated. We also are like really active on social media, on Facebook and Instagram. So if you follow those, if you just look up UCR BPSHI will come up. A little bit further about our membership is that we do have, there's no membership fee, but we have polos that are required for clinicals. The polos are $15, but they're really good quality. And we also have a point system because we've noticed that our clinics are becoming more and more popular and that we're having to reduce the amount of people who can attend each clinic. So we have a point system amongst our members. So people who come to more general meetings, more social events, more fundraisers, they get higher priority to attend clinic. So a little bit more about our clinic and the way we have it run is, as I said before, we're set up at the temples and the gurdwaras and the mosques. And so it's all completely student run besides the physician that's there. So we start off with a registration table in which we take their height, their weight, and we calculate their BMI. We get all of the past medical history, and it's a struggle just to get people to come sometimes, especially because the people who are there usually do have health problems and they don't want to face it. And they have like the stigmas, and it's just a lot of pressure of like taking your height and your weight out in public and stuff. But that's what makes it more and more important to kind of reach out to people, because these are the people who don't have insurance, who aren't seeing doctors, and they really need to find out this information about themselves. So that's what is like great about clinic, is that you're getting this like really interactive patient interaction of like bringing them in and like experiencing it with them and going through the entire process. So after you do registration, once you get all the information down, you take them down to a blood pressure table where we have volunteers taking blood pressure, and you're trained on how to do all of this before every clinical. And then the next table is blood sugar, and then we have a table with health education, and we have a lot of information there. We're going to have insurance agents come out and speak about like how to get insurance for those who have like, no knowledge on how to, and like other resources in the Riverside area. And then one of our last tables is doctor consultation. So each patient that comes to our clinic gets 10 to 15 minutes with a doctor. We usually have 2 physicians per clinic. And then after that, we record all of their their medical information just for our personal records to see how many people we're outreaching, and to see like how many people we're finding that don't have any insurance and are like have like huge health problems that they need to get checked out. So that's pretty much what we do as BPSHI. We have our student clinics and we have our other social events. So feel free to come check us out, email us, check us out on social media, come out to our next general meeting. We're all really nice, and it's a growing organization. We're fairly new to campus. This is our 2nd year. So yeah, we host around 2 to 3 clinicals every quarter.
So you've probably seen this theme of like health education coming through all of our presentations. You're going to notice that whether you're doing community service or clinical experience, the need for health education is really vast in our community. So most of your clinical experiences are going to be involving in some way educating the patient about their health. It's not always just as simple as writing a prescription, right? There's a lot of education that goes along with healthcare. So that leads us into prescription writing, and Julia is going to come up and talk to us about some pharmacy-related experiences.
Hi guys, so my name is Julia, and I am one of the pre-pharmacy parameters at HPAC. So today I will be talking about Riverside Clinic, specifically pharmacy, and it's a really great way to earn pharmacy experience as well as volunteering in our community. So what is Riverside Clinic? I won't delve too much into it because Dakota will talk more about it when she talks about the medical part of Riverside Clinic. So we are a nonprofit organization that provides free healthcare to the underserved population of the Inland Empire, and we have clinic every other Wednesday, and we set up clinic at the First Congregational Church in downtown Riverside, and we provide service ranging from medical to dental and counseling support. And what the pharmacy committee or department does specifically is we provide medication for patients of all these services. So whether they're like they came to our clinic for a medical or dental procedure or So what is Riverside Free Clinic? So what we do is we provide medication and drug counseling to patients. So to give you a little rundown of what our clinic is first, after a patient sees a medical student, the medical student will come to the pharmacy department to get a script to prescribe medication for that patient. And after they write their prescription, then they would bring it to the pharmacist to check if everything's all right and approve it. And after the pharmacist checks the prescription, then they will bring it to us. And what we do is that we type up the prescription into a label that we put on the drug. The little pills, like the bottles that you see when you get your drugs. And what the pharmacy students is that they fill up the prescription and then they bring the drug to the patient and then they counsel them. So it's a really great thing because you see people in all different levels of pharmacy. You're working with other pre-pharmacy students, you're working with students who are attending pharmacy school already, and you are working with pharmacists who are practicing pharmacy, and you get to talk to them and learn different aspects of pharmacy. So we do work with pharmacy students from Loma University, Western, as well as KGI. And for undergraduate, you attend clinic at least once a month and from 5:30 p.m. to around 10 p.m. So when you ever visit the doctor's office and you get a prescription, you probably don't know what it means, partially because of poor handwriting or just because it's written in these abbreviation, which are state codes. And what state codes are is that they're medical and pharmacy abbreviation. So on here, I have an example. It's not what we use in clinic, but I found this online. So you have like amoxicillin 250 milligram, 2 tablets, K.I.D times 7 days. So we translate that into take amoxicillin 250 milligram, take 2 tablets, 5 ml, 3 times 8 days daily, and 42 for the number of tablets. So this is what we do in pharmacy, and it's a really great way to get familiar with drugs and writing state codes. And a lot of patients who come to the clinic are recurring patients, and they come to us for like a lot of chronic conditions, so like diabetes and hypertension and things like that. And also there's a checkbox option for Spanish. So on the script, there's like a checkbox, and then if you check that, then we would have to type the prescription in Spanish. So a lot of like easy things like, oh, take 1 tablet by mouth once daily, we are able to like memorize that and just type that. But there's like more complicated prescription like, oh, instill 1 drop in right eye once in the morning and like instill like 1.5 drops in the evening in the left eye, things like that. Then we would get help from the medical Spanish committee to help us type those prescriptions up. So right now you're probably like, wow, I'm so interested in pharmacy. So how would you apply to the pharmacy of Riverside Free Clinic? So you must be an undergraduate at UC Riverside. So, and then the pharmacy application is separate from the medical application, but you can apply to both if you want. I think an application that opens up in mid-spring quarter, so I think around April, and it's due in early May. So what is the components of the application? You have to submit your CV or your resume, and you complete a referral form. So you have like a professor or a mentor fill that out, and you write a maximum of 500-word essay describing why you're interested in volunteering for Riverside Free Clinic and serving underserved communities, as well as any information you want to include. And after that, you may be invited back for an interview to get into Riverside Free Clinic Pharmacy. Thank you.
Pharmacy is actually weird. So next we're going to hear about optometry. So Tani's going to come up and talk to you all about how to get some experience with fine sands, precision for vision, K.I.D Free Clinic. It's all very confusing, but she's going to sort it out.
Hi everyone, my name is Tahani and I'm the optometry paramedic, the only one with that. So, and I'm going to talk to you today a little bit about the K.I.D Free Clinic. Alright, so what is it all about? So in case anybody didn't know, K.I.D is in Mexico, and these free clinics are set up by Fine Samaritans, and we basically have the opportunity to go on trips to Mexico. It's like a 1-day trip and provide free health people there. So they actually run free clinics all over like Baja California, all over Mexico, but this is specific about the K.I.D clinic. It's all about assisting underprivileged people who travel all over the country to see eye care. So I know when I went, it was like really crazy because we had so many people coming from all over the country, and like these people have not seen like a healthcare provider probably like some of them in their lives. So it was like really shocking to see. We assist checking in patients and performing basic testing such as auto-refracting. So I'm sure some of you don't know what that is, but like so basically, like when you go to an optometrist's office, I'm sure some of you have, you fill out paperwork and then you do like some pre-testing. So then they do auto-refracting, which is like estimating how strong your prescription is, and then they'll do like NCT, which is checking like your eye pressure, and then like visual field. But at this clinic, we're very like, we don't have as many resources, so we just do like very basic eye tests, and you'll see right here too. So this is a little bit about my experience. So this is kind of what the inside of the lab looks like. And so as you can see, the optometrist is on the very right picture. She's like in this small office, and like they have like a very interesting prompter that's like very outdated. And actually another thing too is you get the opportunity to shadow an optometrist too. And this optometrist is a Mexican optometrist, so it's like a lot of the things that they do is actually pretty different. Like when she was refracting the eyes, we didn't have like the automatic machine, so she was doing it with like lenses and lights. It was really cool. This is me in the middle picture, and I'm like, as you can see, it's pretty hands-on too. I'm like testing the reaction of the pupil to the light. So I think some of you guys know, but should know, if your pupil gets really small, like in the light, because like we have a lot of light and we're like able to like produce an image from it, but in the dark, your pupil is supposed to get really large because you're trying to grab as much light as you can to like create an image for yourself. Some of these people, like when you flash a light in their eye, their pupils like do not get smaller. So that is like an indication of some type of neurological issue. So that is like a lot of the things that we test for before we actually send them into the optometrist. And then we have like glasses too here, and then like more supplies in the back. And then yeah, so up in the front we have more of the like the when you like go to the optometrist and then you see like the letters from afar, and they're like, "How? What's the lowest line that you can read?" So that's all we did too. And then we'll ask like basic questions like, "Oh, do you have any family history of like diabetes, glaucoma," and all of those other really important questions, because a lot in optometry is like the pre-testing. So like the information that you give the optometrist really like plays an impact onto like how well they're able to provide healthcare for the patient. So I'm sure everyone is super excited about this now, right? How do I get involved? So we do have a Flying Samaritans Club on campus. However, Precision for Vision, which is our free optometry club, we actually like pay Flying Sams to reserve seats specifically for our members to be able to attend the clinics, because like it's an eye clinic and it's in Mexico, so it's like super special opportunity for people to be a part of. So then we think it's like definitely a worthy investment to allow our members to partake in something like this. And it's on a first come, first served basis. So whoever signs up first gets to go, and it's an opportunity offered once a quarter. And I think only about like 1 or 2 people go every quarter, just because it's like around like midterm finals time, and like people don't have time, and some people are not willing to go to Mexico. But if non-members would like to attend, they certainly can. They just would have to contact the Flying Samaritans Club that we have on campus, and that's how they would be able to attend the clinic. And then, although it would be very beneficial to know Spanish, it is not mandatory. I know this personally because I was there and I did not know a word of Spanish, like very little Spanish. Then at the end of the day, a guy was leaving and then he told me something. I was like, "Oh, what did he say?" And then my friend was like, "Oh, he said that you should learn Spanish." So, so that was nice too. And you must have a passport. So you are not allowed to, well, you're not allowed to come on the trip unless you have a passport, because you might be able to go into Mexico, but you will not be able to come out. And this is not an overnight trip. So we leave around like 5 o'clock in the morning, and then we get back around 3. It's kind of crazy, and it takes forever, and you're so tired by the end of it, but yeah, you do return in one day. It's not an overnight trip. And then lastly, how will I benefit? You get to shadow a doctor from a different country. I think that was like a really big part of my chance to shadow an optometrist. So that was really interesting. And then you have the opportunity to observe eye surgery. So for any of the cases that are like very severe, or like this person needs surgery right now, it's like an optical emergency. We actually have the surgery clinic just like in the next building. So if we actually have a patient that needs surgery, you can go down to the clinic and you can observe eye surgery. See rare and serious eye conditions that you might not see in private practice in the United States. Yeah, because a lot of the time, like here in the United States, like when someone like goes into the optometrist as a child,
you did kind of catch a lot of eye diseases early on in life, but in Mexico, like these children might not get the opportunity to see a doctor until like we go. So that's another thing that happens, and like you see people with really serious eye disorders, and then lastly, decide whether this field is for you or not. Like I know for sure for me personally, the fact that I was able to go to this clinic really solidified the reason why I want to be an optometrist. I love helping people, and I love going to Mexico and seeing like all the opportunities that I have and all the opportunities that these people have to receive eye care, and it was really great. Thank you.
Okay, up next, we're gonna have Annie come up and talk about the Co-Call Solutions Program. This might be the one clinical opportunity that most people are like, yes, right, I saw a couple of heads bob. So you might already know about this, you might not. If not, Annie's gonna fill you in.
Hello everyone, I'm Annie, and I'm currently a third-year bio major, and I'm pre-PA. So can I get a show of hands of who has heard of COPE? Okay, and who's currently a health scholar right now? Okay. So basically, the health scholar program is a program for you to get hands-on patient experience. This program is actually really helpful for any of the pre-health students who are interested in the medical field in the future. So this program allows you to gain clinical experience, like I said earlier, and you learn patient interaction skills, and you also get to become part of the patient care team. So you work with nurses, techs, and also doctors. This program allows you to explore a large variety of healthcare careers, and throughout each rotation you get to see which specialty interests you in the future. So currently there are more than 10 locations in California. The most common locations that you see our students go to are the Riverside Community Hospital, which is around 10 minutes away, and the Kaiser Permanente in Riverside as well. For the commuters, it would be easier if you could just pick a site that's closest to your hometown if you think driving would be a problem. So hands-on training and education, when you apply for the program, there's actually a 30-hour intensive training, and it takes about two days, so that's a weekend for you. Completing this program, you actually get a certificate for patient experience from UCLA, and it'll look really good when you apply to graduate school in the future. In order to graduate from this program, you have to achieve 280 hours in the hospital setting. And right now, there are more than 2 program tracks, but the most common ones are just the regular track, which is, it takes about 15 months to complete, and the commitment would be you have to attend a shift for 4 hours, and you have to go to the hospital once per week. We also have the accelerated program, and it takes about 3 months. You would be in 2 departments at the same time, I believe, and which is 20 to 24 hours, and that's in each week. The regular program costs about $200 right now, and the accelerated program is about $500, I believe. So here are the many rotations that we get to go through as we move up the tier. As you can see, starting off, you have medical surgical. So that would be like working with nurses and basically PAs as well. Also, there's the telemetry program that we have. And so basically, that's the start off tier. You would basically learn how to, clean patients and learn how to feed them. And as you move up the tier, you get to be in the pediatrics rotation, also ICU, and I believe there's the mother baby rotation as well. So you spend 3 months in each rotation, so that means you have to complete 48 hours minimum in each rotation in order to move on to the top tier. And with each rotation, you have to go through specific department trainings as well for that specific rotation. Also, I believe we also have emergency department and labor and delivery in the 3rd tier. After that, you can move on to OR if you're interested, and NICU. So this is the process for applying for the program. So first you have to complete your application, and there's a set of questions that they want you to answer, such as why do you want to be in this program and what do you hope to gain from this program. And then after that, they're going to give you your interview, where they're probably just going to ask the same question as well. And they'll probably give you some scenario questions for you to answer. After that, you'll have to complete a background check. And then to be in the program, there's the clearance appointment. They have to make sure that you're up to date for your vaccinations. And you also have to turn in your immunization records, like I said. And they require all the house scholars to be CPR certified. So you would either take CPR classes on your own, or you could actually get the CPR classes through the program that they offer. After that, you will have to pay your tuition. Like I said, it's around $200, and there's also an application fee, which is $20. And then after that, you'll go through training, which is 30 hours. And after the training, there's also a written exam and a practical, where they want to test to see if you know the proper skills in order to interact with patient and nurses. And then after that, you start the program. So here's the deadline and tuitions. Right now, the application is actually due in 2 days. So if you're interested, you definitely have time to complete the application. And you'll be able to start the rotation in February after you go through the application process, such as interview and training. So if you can't make it, there's definitely the summer session, which would be due in February 15th. And below would be the application fee and tuition. And yeah, for more information, you could contact me after the presentation, or you could just go on their website. Thank you.
So for those of you who are interested in health, it could be medicine, PA, pharmacy, nursing, you think you want to be in the medical field, but you're not really sure where, that's where the co-health solutions program is really great, because as Annie mentioned, you get exposure to kind of all different levels of healthcare. So we only have 4 presenters left. Kevin's going to talk to you guys about the San Bernardino Free Clinic, and then we'll end the presentation with the Riverside Free Clinic, and they're both associated with the School of Medicine that
So hi, my name is Heaven. I'm a 4th year pre-med peer mentor, and I'll talk to you about San Bernardino Free Clinic. So SPFC is a student-run free clinic that provides free healthcare to underserved communities in our area. So underserved, that could include low income, or those who don't have health insurance, or even undocumented or refugee patients. So when I say it's a student-run free clinic, I say that because it's literally run by UCR undergraduates and medical students at the UCR School of Medicine. So our clinic is located in San Bernardino City, which is about a 20-25 minute drive from here. And we actually partner with Listana Free Clinic because we use their facility. So how clinic works is that we currently open clinic once a month. We're trying to see if we can extend that to twice a month. But how it works is we have the medical students who are the ones who are examining the patients, and our patient advocates are the ones who also go in the rooms with them, and they'll translate for the patients who don't speak English or mainly speak Spanish. And the hours are about from 9 a.m. to about 1 p.m. We also have some other teams that are present when clinic opens, which could be education or research. There are some other teams, which I'll mention in the next slide, that don't really come to clinic when we open it, but it does give you the opportunity to shadow some of the medical students and PAs when you normally don't come to clinic. So some of the teams and board teams I listed here, these are the student-run part of it. So teams, we have 6 teams right now. Research, I'll talk about a little later because I'm in research. The administration team is actually new this year, so they work with
the front desk kind of task. They're the ones who greet the patients when they come in and manage the appointments and paperwork. Education, they're the ones who go into the patient rooms after the medical students are done examining the patients, and they speak to the residents or physicians. And during that kind of gap time, the education will go in and teach them about certain health topics such as like hypertension or diabetes. Patient advocates are the ones who translate between the patients and the medical students or anyone else in the clinic. One requirement about the patient advocates is that you have to be fluent in Spanish. We also have a finance team, which is a fundraising team, and our community outreach. Each team also has a undergraduate chair. There's also a medical student who's in charge of kind of supervising and working together with those teams. In addition to the chair teams that I mentioned, we also have a undergraduate clinic coordinator. There's currently one this year, but starting next year, they're gonna expand it to 2. And we also have physician recruiters who are the ones who contact physicians or residents to see if they can come volunteer at our clinic. So research team, the general research project that we're currently conducting right now is a demographic survey, which is intended to understand who our patient population is, because we don't have a lot of information about them. So we'll administer the surveys at the clinic, and our team actually goes to the clinic 4 times a week because we're going just for our research purposes. But in order to collect those information from the surveys, we're trying to see if they specifically have any transportation issues, so we can see if we can provide those services to them. But some of my personal experiences in the research team is that that I got to experience and learn about a lot of things that I never thought I would be able to. First thing was just kind of getting into research and getting that research experience. Another one was learning about public health and the health disparities in our community, and that Inland Empire and San Bernardino County is really a medically underserved area. Another one was I had the opportunity to write a grant proposal for the UCR mini grant, and I was awarded almost the full amount of it during the summer. I also submitted an abstract to a conference to talk about another research project that we're currently planning. And that was accepted late September, so I actually flew to Phoenix, Arizona 2 weeks ago and gave a poster presentation at the annual biomedical research conference for minority students. So in addition to kind of getting this general research opportunity and learning about the underserved population in my area, I was really able to build connections with the other undergraduate researchers and even with the medical student and the School of Medicine faculty who kind of helped me prepare my presentation and stuff. So this was a very exciting experience for me and personal accomplishment because I got to fly out by myself and prepare this whole thing. And then regarding the application for next year, it's going to open either winter or spring quarter. It's not really decided yet, but if you're on the SBSC Highlander link, if you're a member there or registered there, you will get updates on when that application opens. And if you are accepted, it's a year-long commitment. And regarding the application, there's no specific requirements other than that you have to be a current undergrad, and you have to write some essay questions. There's actually one extra for research, and there's no GPA requirement, but it is a considered factor in your application. And if you have any questions, you can contact Brandon, who's our undergraduate clinic coordinator.
If you follow the School of Medicine, UCR School of Medicine Facebook page, Henry might look familiar to you. She was featured last week, over the weekend, for that research conference that she was talking about. So congratulations to you on that. Next, Norrin's going to talk to you guys about how to get a farm tech license or certification.
It's both. So, hello everyone. My name is Norrin Tom, and I am one of the other pre-pharmacy peer mentors. And I'm going to be talking to you about how you can attain a pharmacy technician certification as well as the pharmacy technician license. And by quick show of hands, how many of you are actually interested in a health profession? Yeah, it should be everybody, right? Because everyone's here for the HPAC getting involved opportunities, right? So I wanted to get a quick poll of the audience because although I may be presenting about acquiring the Pharm Tech and becoming the Pharm Tech, even though you may not necessarily be pursuing a career as a pharmacist or going into pharmacy school, getting this experience as a Pharm Tech can be beneficial, even though you may be, let's say, for example, a pre-med student. And there's actually a peer mentor here that has had some great experiences as a Pharm Tech, and even though he's currently now a pre-med student. Would you like to share some experiences? His name's actually Ryan, he's in the back.
We are short on time, so you just keep on.
So it's okay, so it's all right, you don't have to share, but what Ryan would have said is that he did gain a lot of great experiences as a Pharm Tech that he could apply towards his medical school path and becoming a physician. So what are the benefits of a Pharm Tech license besides what I just said? More specifically, with regards to becoming a pharmacist, you can get more exposure, of course, to pharmacy as you interact with Pharm Techs, other pharmacists, and of course the patients who we are serving. And this will lead to opportunities with paid experience as a pharmacy technician and even more volunteer opportunities as a Pharm Tech, such as possibly at a hospital, where you can of course interact with more healthcare professionals, including physicians and nurses and other pharmacists. And of course, these are some of the lovely skills you can develop as you gain this experience working in the pharmacy environment. Okay, so this is, first of all, you have to obtain your pharmacy technician certification. This can be registered through the PTCB website, pctb.org. And this is a $129 application fee. It's a computer-based exam, so similar to your PCAT, MCAT, a little shorter, it's 2 hours. Technically an hour 50 because 10 minutes is a tutorial and a little survey. And immediately after you complete the examination, a big explanation, or not explanation, a big window will pop up saying whether or not you pass or fail. So you get very quick results. But of course, this is not the official results. It's just a preliminary result. And upon passing, because you all pass, upon passing, you get your certification, and then you have to go through a long process in obtaining the licensure, the pharmacy technician license. And of course, in order to get that, you have to pass your certification. And getting licensed can be applied through pharmacy.ca.gov, so the California Board of Pharmacy website. And this is another application fee. It just actually increased the price as of July 1st this year to $140. So this process, like I said, is a lot longer. It takes 3 months because it's all done through mail. And this is when you actually get your official license brought to you to your home or whatever address you note. And of course, if you have further questions, Future Pills, the pre-pharmacy org at UCR, is going to go more into depth about how you can obtain your certification and license. And we will also have a panel of pharmacy technicians where you can, of course, ask them questions there as well. So thank you, everyone.
Shameless plug for pills there at the end, but that's what this is for. So the last two that we have today are both going to be free clinics. So Far's going to talk to you guys about Cornerstone Free Clinic, and then Dakota's going to wrap this up with Riverside Free Clinic.
Hello, sorry, I'm a bit sick, so sounds weird. Hello everyone, I'm also a medicine peer mentor at HPAC. My name is Car. I know the first name is like super long, but I don't really go by it, so it's okay. So Cornerstone Free Clinic is a free clinic in San Bernardino. There's actually also another free clinic that we just opened up in Redlands as well that is kind of like a subset of Cornerstone Free Clinic. They're in 2 different locations. I'll get into that in the next slide. But it's essentially a resident-run free clinic, so Loma students will come to the free clinic and kind of practice with these patients, and then the
residing doctor will essentially look over their case to see if they have presented their case appropriately, and then they'll sign off on these cases. Essentially, we provide primary care. This free clinic is on a much smaller scale than San Bernardino Free Clinic or Riverside Free Clinic. It's located about 20 minutes away from UCR, so it is a bit of a drive. But one important difference between those other free clinics is that we are open every week from 7 to 8:30. We also provide hygiene items, and we also have physical therapy come in and provide their services. We also have health education provided by Loma Linda pharmacy students. Please ignore that typo. 2 locations. So one is called Cornerstone Free Clinic and the other one is Crosswalk. Cornerstone is every Wednesday from 7 to 8:30, whereas Crosswalk is every Thursday from 7 to 8:30. This location is in San Bernardino, the other one is in Redlands. So my experience. So I think that it's really important to be able to volunteer at a free clinic because it opens up your eyes to the population around us where that are much less fortunate than we are. For example, when I started volunteering at free clinic, at this free clinic, I would do the patient intakes. So essentially at Cornerstone Free Clinic, there's 3 kind of main areas where you can volunteer. The first is patient intake, where you get to actually interact with the patients. You get down their patient history, whether or not they have diabetes, what they're here to get help for. And with that, you get to know these patients on a personal level. They'll come in and say hi, and they'll actually have a conversation with you. They'll ask you how your week has been, and then if for some reason you don't show up one week, they'll actually chastise you for it. They're like, oh, I didn't see you last week, what happened? So it's really nice because that personal connection will allow you to get to know these patients better and realize how fortunate you are to be where you are. Also, you are also able to partake in vitals for these patients as well. So it's on a small scale, so you can essentially volunteer wherever you feel the most comfortable. I like to volunteer in intake because I like to get to know the patients and see why they have the problems that they have. So I would definitely recommend getting this experience, whether it's here at Cornerstone or Crosswalk or Riverside Free Clinic or San Bernardino Free Clinic. So how to apply? So this free clinic is very different from the other free clinics in that we don't constantly take volunteers. It's on a need basis essentially, but if you're interested, you can email or go onto the website and submit kind of a volunteer interest application, and they'll get back to you as soon as they need someone, and you'll go through an interview process, and they'll let you know if and when they need you. So that is all. Thank you.
So I think you guys got a sense that Cornerstone and I think just Cornerstone's not connected with UCR the way that Dakota is going to talk about Riverside Free Clinic or San Bernardino Free Clinic. There's a lot of free clinics out in the community that have nothing to do with UCR. There's, yes, San Bernardino and BPSHI and Riverside Free Clinic, but you can always Google your hometown and the words free clinic, and things like Cornerstone will pop up if you're in Pasadena, LA, San Diego, Northern California, or maybe you're from a different state. Always think about that. You can just Google free clinics in your home community and find lots of opportunities to serve your local community or your backyard. So last but certainly not least, Dakota is going to wrap us up with Riverside Free Clinic.
Hi everyone, my name is Dakota and I'm one of the pre-PA peer mentors at HPAC. Today I'll be talking to you about Riverside Free Clinic, specifically the medical clinic. This is our mission statement. RFC is a nonprofit organization that provides free interdisciplinary health and wellness care to the underserved population of the Inland Empire while providing an effective training environment for future healthcare professionals and leaders dedicated to serving the Inland Empire. So in the medical clinic, there are various committees that you can become a part of. Unfortunately, because we are on a time crunch, I'm not going to go in depth on what these committees do, but on the clinic website, there are comprehensive descriptions of these committees' responsibilities. I'm just going to talk briefly about lung health because I am a part of the lung health committee. In this committee, I have the opportunity to create individualized action plans with patients and track their progress really on helping them manage and develop strategies for their overall lung health, asthma, and smoking cessation. Julia, another commenter earlier, talked about the pharmacy clinic, which is run by Loma Linda Western and Keck Graduate Institute. In addition to the medical clinic and pharmacy clinic, Riverside Free Clinic also has a dental clinic, which is run by Western University. And there's also a mental clinic, which is run by counselors from the University of Redlands. Okay, so here are the specific volunteer and application requirements. All RFC volunteers must meet the following requirements. So having a GPA greater equal to a 2.8 is highly encouraged. Being a current undergraduate student at UCR for the 2018 to 19 application cycle. Demonstrate a strong desire to help and as well as an understanding of the underserved community through activities, including but not limited to clinical experience, community service, and employment. Attend at least 4 out of the 5 clinics that are offered every quarter, which are offered every other Wednesday from 4:45 to 10 p.m. And this is at the First Congregational Church of Riverside. So it's in downtown Riverside. And as well as you must satisfy your respective committee requirements. So whatever committee you join, you'll be required to fill those duties. So as for the actual application, you will be required to answer several short answer questions, as well as attach a CV or resume and ask a credible source for a referral form. So that could be your professor or your advisor or one of your work bosses. So here's a general timeline of the application cycle for the 2018 to 19 year. The applications will open at the end of winter and the start of spring 2018. The applications will be due in early May, and then interviews will be held mid to late May. You will receive an email regarding your final status in June. So because the applications for this year is now closed, you won't have the opportunity to apply until you get to the 2018 to 19 cycle. So you can fill out the RFC interest form, which is on the Riverside Free Clinic website. You just click on the home button, and then under clinic application, there will be like a Google form that pops up. And after clicking that, the RFC interest form will ask you if you want to receive any emails regarding information sessions, application periods, and deadlines for the 2018 to 19 application cycle. So I strongly recommend filling this out if you are interested in joining for the next cycle, because you'll receive updates through your email. And then, let's see, if you have any other questions, please feel free to email me. I attached my email there. And then, or Taylor Lee, she is the 2017 to 18 personnel manager, and she can answer any of the questions that you have regarding applications.
Great, thank you. So Dakota wrapped up there with Riverside Free Clinic. It's probably the organization you've heard the most about in addition to COPE. Riverside Free Clinic probably gets the most applications. I don't know, Dakota, if you know off the top of your head, a couple hundred. Yeah, so they might get 200 applications for probably less than 30 slots. So it's probably the most, quote unquote, competitive program that we've gone through tonight, which is why I mentioned that you can get involved with free clinics in your own backyard by just looking for things like Cornerstone, a lot of free clinics in the LA and San Diego area. So Riverside Free Clinic and San Bernardino Free Clinic are definitely not the only two ways to serve low income or at-need communities. So the last thing I have for you guys here is the Ask a Peer Mentor schedule for our peer mentors. We're not really going to be able to go through Q&A this evening for obvious reasons, but all of the 16 peer mentors that we have on staff are available for 2 hours per week. So if you have a question about something they presented tonight, then you can just come to their schedule and talk to them at that point in time. This was also recorded, so we'll have it posted on the website for you hopefully within the next week or so you can rewatch any information that you missed, or we can send it to you via email. These are just some last resources. I promised you links to things like the National Association of Advisors for the Health Professions, the AAMC in terms of aspiring docs. Explore Health Careers is a wonderful organization. All of the peer mentors mentioned Highlander Link. All of the clubs and networks on campus are going to be located through Highlander Link. So if you haven't been on that database yet, or where you can get access to all 457 clubs on campus. And then this is the research portal that we have on campus. We didn't talk about research today because most of you are going to be involved in research because this is a research campus. But that research portal will give you a direct link to faculty who are looking to hire undergraduate students in their